Hey, ASU, of course, ASU. IDS 302. Welcome to video 5.1. I am stressing here a little bit. Could not find a good place, and even here in a coffee shop in Pacific Grove, California, they don't have Wi-Fi. Explain that one to me. I'm just so irritated right now. Yeah, you can get 350 for Americano, but you can't give me Wi-Fi. I'm so irritated. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this posted so you guys have something to work with. I want to mention the HAL video and the review there. And I just want to talk about that. Yeah, there were a lot of good observations made from that. Um, it's kind of a layered assignment because I see the students, some students didn't get it, really couldn't name disciplines too much or understand it. Sorry, there's the on. Some named disciplines, but they didn't capitalize them. In this class, you know what that means. It's not a discipline. Okay, disciplines are capitalized. Some people named disciplines and stayed within, Hal's discussion of art, jewelry, music he played, whether it was travel or communication or history, things like that. And then there were some that went deep as you could almost go. Pull back the lens, pun intended, and understand that what it was for me was my capstone project for an interdisciplinary studies master's. And therefore, I had to integrate. I had to show integration, right, in real life, so to speak, for my master's degree. And I had to integrate, and some students caught the filmmaking part of it, the videography, the cinematography, editing, sound that go into those disciplines, appropriate disciplines, to create such a thing. And then to also get in something. No one, I think it was mentioned in a comment, but no one got the one that I always think is the trickiest one that I would give extra credit for. And that if someone would said oral history. Oral history is an important discipline, and it's becoming quite a bit more popular the last 30 or so years, 40 years maybe. There are oral history associations across the country that delve in. It's an academic study. What it does is allows agency and voice to an individual to give their own story, like what Hal was doing, his oral history. Okay, except for that photo that he had of him and Willie Nelson, I had no evidence or proof of anything that took place except for the pictures of him when he was younger. Do I believe him? Of course I do. I believe he had, you know, dinner with Frank Zappa and I got on stage with Janis Joplin and played chess with Willie Nelson and et cetera, et cetera. But it's his oral history. It's everyone has their own story. Even NPR, I believe, is going around the country, or had been before the COVID, with a kind of portable, mobile oral history van. People can tell their story because, as we all know by now, it's the victors who write the history, right? So history has been a fairly Eurocentric point of view, especially in this country. And oral history allows those who have stories, whether it's Indigenous Americans, whether it's African Americans, Asian Americans, people that are from cultures that didn't dominate the history lessons, that can voice their own oral history. So it's an important and very interesting um, discipline that I just wanted to touch on there to talk about, okay? And of course, I'm going to jump around here. By the way, I was thinking about African American in terms of having a hyphen in APA or not, and actually looked it up because I want you to make sure that if you're talking about black or white in terms of people, in terms of a cultural thing, black cultural, white cultural, it needs to be capitalized. Black and white needs to be capitalized, not lowercase. It needs to be capitalized, okay? But according to APA, I believe it is capitalized black and white when the words are used as proper nouns to refer to social groups. Do not use color words for other ethnic groups. The manual specifies that hyphens should not be used in multi-word names such as Asian American or African American. So we don't use hyphens anymore because I think that there was a sensitivity to that I want to respect. So I've flipped my script and I don't correct for that anymore because it really shouldn't be. In terms of the work, I know it's getting busy and we got a lot to do, but the good news is that there's no more quizzes, right? After what you did last night, no more quizzes. The final 3 modules, almost half the points of the class, 490 points available. There's 6 videos worth 30 points. There are 3 discussion boards, plus one where you just post your survey link. That's worth 120 points. Might even be more now I'm thinking about it. And then 3 steps, the final 3 steps, not including step 2, is, or 3, 4, or 5, 5 being the final paper, and step 5, it's worth 340 points. There's a lot there. So there's a lot of work. But remember, again, I remind you, it's a 7.5-week course that is meant, all college level courses are designed for 15 weeks in terms of the workload for credits. Okay, 3 credits in any 3-credit class. You can look it up. You should be committed to between 115 and 124 hours, actually about 117, 124 hours over the course of the semester. So if it's a 16-week semester, obviously it's less. It's like, it's 8 hours a week that you're devoting to it, right? Because typically if you go to class, you go to 2 or 3 classes. That's worth about 3 hours. Then you have your 5 hours of study, 6 hours, whatever. When it's smushed into a 7.5-week class all online, you're talking about committing up to 16, 17 hours a week. That's a lot, I know, but are you doing that? And if you're not, then I know you're stressed, I know you're struggling, and I know it's hard. But this class, 300 level class, any college class offers 3 credits, is 16 to 17 hours a week of work a week. So if you can gauge yourself in terms of that, that's what it would take. In terms of, let's see, moving on, let's do Easter egg number 1 right away. Disciplines are academic subjects. Disciplines are academic subjects, just to kind of give you that connection, because some people we still think in terms of remember high school and stuff. You got a subject. What subject you in? What subject you got? What subject you got 4th hour? Okay, but disciplines are like that. You're getting an idea what they are. I know 99% of you are. I just want to keep reminding you on that. Okay, so let's talk about module 5. All right. There's the readings there. Text is in my backpack right now, so I'm not pulling it out. Read Tanner chapter 10 and 11, which is about leadership and constructive interdisciplinarity. Benson's 5 arguments. This will be important for your discussion board. Benson's 5 arguments, and then Newell's response to Benson. So Thomas Benson put out this 5. He was being devil's advocate about IDS, and he was saying, okay, these are 5 arguments against IDS, why it's not good, why you shouldn't take it, whatever. Devil's advocate, things you should be prepared for to be criticized from, right? But then Bill Newell, he responded to Benson. Now, Benson's was 7 pages, Newell's is 14, but he responded to all those arguments. So these are very important in terms of your own firepower that you can use to promote and defend your own choice of academic focus and why it's so important, right? And you can understand what you'll probably get coming back at you, okay? Coffee is good, I gotta tell you that. So like my 4th cup this morning. So, all right. So we got that, okay. There is, so the discussion board is about, you're gonna write about Benson's 5 arguments and Newell's responses. That's due on the 8th. Check it out. I mean, it's self-explanatory. Follow the instructions. Yes, definitely use the readings as sources. Don't give me the standard canned responses that you had going into IDS, because this is new things you should be learning. Identify where you've got it here. I don't really require citation as much in discussion board. It's fairly informal. Don't worry about giving me a works cited list. But if you want to say, Benson says this, Newell said this, then that's fine, okay? You don't need to be too formal in there. I just want to know that you recognize what you read there, okay? Then you're going to get into your primary data collection. That is part of your step 3 process. It helps you jumpstart it. I'll explain why. Step 3 is an annotated bibliography. That's the way we're doing it, okay? So I know there's a specific step 3. I didn't write it down there, but it's an annotated bibliography in this class, okay? I have it listed. Ideally, what I want you to get is 4 peer-reviewed sources for each of 3 disciplines. So 4, 8, 12, okay? Now, discussion board helps you to jumpstart you by helping you get credit for finding some peer-reviewed sources. And yes, 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 you can use the sources that you find for your discussion board. You can use them as part of your step 3. That's beautiful. The difference is, of course, is that it's a discussion board. So I do have a sample of someone who did it. I copied and pasted it, so you can see that it's informal. It's not done, formally with the formatting, but you can see it does have an organization to it. And so you follow that lead, and then when you go to do the step 3 that's due next Sunday, I have a video, an excellent 4.5-minute video by a college professor in English Lit, I believe. She's going to show you how to put together a annotated bibliography. She's going to show you the steps, what to include, what not to include, how to format it. It's brilliant. It's it gets very good responses from my class to use that video. So you have a video you can use, you have the sample that you can use, and you have this discussion board, jumpstart that you can use to get going. So it should work out really well. The key again, though, is they must be peer-reviewed sources. Don't post things from New York Times, for any .com, for any blog. You see the hot link and it says blog editor, you get it out of there, okay? Peer-reviewed sources. To do that, you go to the ASU library, do the one search a thing. When it comes up on the right side, you'll see expand results. You should open up and see filters. You check on peer-reviewed, and you check on full text available online. And on the bottom, it should say apply filters. You do that, and everything that comes up should be usable. And then you go through and pick and choose what you want to use. What I would always do is I'd look at that list. I'd put a pin in the ones that I thought sounded good from the title, and then I'd get those all emailed to me in a list or something. And then I'd go back and I'd check each one. I'd look at the table of contents. Does it still resonate with me? If it doesn't, I chuck it. If it does, I keep it to the next cut, okay? Then after that second cut, then I go back in and I look in the chapters that I think resonate with my work, and then I'll throw out the ones that don't. And the ones that do, I'll start to highlight, copy, and paste in a Word doc the quotes and things that I should be referring to or paraphrasing, and I know where they're from, the sources that they're from. I know what discipline they're from, and it's a process. If you try to do this all next Sunday, it's going to fail miserably, but that's up to you. So I hope you understand that I'm talking fast as I usually do, but I want to give you this idea, the idea of what's going on, from the instructions, from the lecture, samples, videos, and then you can still get a hold of me, of course, with your questions, okay? Email me. I'll be up here until Thursday, and I drive all the way back to Phoenix. So I'm up in Monterey, actually, in the same place. So for 3 nights, I'll be driving around and going to Carmel tomorrow on the Pebble Beach Drive. I've done these things before, but I'm also happy to be back, except that it's so damn cold up here. It's like 55. Other than that, please send me I'm going to start grading papers and things. I think I've got about 30 step 2s and about 30 quizzes to score yet, and a couple of step 1s that came in, I think. So I'll be working on that later today during the NCAA championship game. Might as well do something like that, and go from there. So use those things that I talked about. I'm going to put together the survey videos, how to make your survey. I'm going to do that when I get back, Friday or Saturday, most likely Saturday. So look for that, and we'll talk all about how to make your quantitative survey and where to go to do that and what it'll look like, okay? I think that's it. I'm going to keep this under 15 minutes for you. But you know what? I didn't do Easter egg number 2 yet. So Easter egg number 2 is you must use 3 disciplines, okay? That's in your paper, that's in your annotated bibliography, that's in your discussion board. Well, the discussion board, you can see I have it broken down by point levels. That's up to you. But you must use 3 disciplines, okay? That was number 2. So let me kill some time before I give you number 3. I think that just about goes over it. People are doing well. I think you're finding that if you're doing the work, you're scoring pretty well. I'm sorry, but there's a clear delineation to some who are just like on the ball and sending it to me. They know what the overarching question is. They know how to write it. They know proper grammar, spelling. You're clicking. So some of you else that are struggling with a little level, you just got to step it up your game a little bit. Step it up, and you'll get it. Be a little more precise, and you'll be there. And there's another group that just is struggling mightily. You got to consider how much time you're putting towards it and how much focus you're giving it to, because going through the motions doesn't get you a good score. Okay, all right. If I have to walk by that back there, I got a wall like that, and I got to walk something on the other side of it. Which is better for me to take this wall down brick by brick, set it aside, go through the other side, put it back together brick by brick, or to find the gate, or to go over it. I'm talking about efficiency, right? To do what's efficient, and I understand that. So I understand people are committing themselves. Try to be efficient, though. Understand where you're putting your energy. Okay. Understand if you do have a question that you fired at me, make it as specific as you can, because the general questions about what do I do, it's too hard for me to answer. Okay. So that's about it. Keep up the great job. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And let's go to Easter egg number 3 then is must use peer-reviewed sources. Must use peer-reviewed sources. How can you tell if it's peer-reviewed source? Well, you'll find it in the library after peer-review filter, but also go to the academic journals. Academic journals. Worst case, you can also go, but you have to be really careful and know what you're getting into. You can Google or go to websites that deal with the Harvard Press, Sage Press, different academic journal publishing houses. Their websites will give you listing alphabetically of all their journals. You have to be academic journals. Academic journals will not take advertising. They're peer reviewed. They're supported. Like the Association of Interdisciplinary Studies, the AIS, just took $75 from me last week on my account for this year's dues. These are supported by dues from members in these academic organizations. They then put out and their peer reviewed work. Okay. So it's not advertising. That's how you can tell. If you just give me a website as a source, it's not going to fly. It's not going to count. Be real clear. It must be peer-reviewed sources. Okay. Contact me if you have a question. Okay. I got the COVID. No, I don't. All right. Have a good one. It is almost 17 minutes. Forks up and peace, my friends.